In this video, I venture outside and get some test footage with my Panasonic S1. Here's the story. It was a beautiful day, so I took my Panasonic S1 to the beach and filmed the family and some strangers. And here's my nephew playing in the ocean. We are in Melbourne, Australia right now, and it is summer, as you can see. I'm shooting with the Panasonic S1, shooting 4K, 25p, 10-bit Vlog, and I'm using Cinematch, which is a plugin, a paid plugin that I've recently purchased. Let me know what you think of the colors, and let me know which camera profile you think I've matched this up to. So the idea behind Cinematch is you take the log footage that you've shot, and then you can change it to any other camera that is in their library. So let me know in the comments which camera you think I've lined it up with. I'm using the Lumix S24 to 105mm f4 OIS macro, and I'm shooting around f9. I can't quite remember if that's what I used the whole time, but I'm pretty sure it was around f9. Using a 180-degree shutter and the Polar Pro variable ND 2 to 5 stops, and that was set to 4 stops the entire time. I'm also using continuous autofocus as well, and if you look at the footage here, you can see that there is a little bit of drifting going with the focus, going from the people to the background and then back to the people, which once you see it, it is really hard not to see it. The autofocus settings I have it set on is one area with human detection set on, and also the autofocus speed is +1 and the AF sensitivity is -3. Now, I don't know if these are the best settings to use, they're just the ones that I had. Let me know if you like them or if you think there are better settings out there. So in this shot, if you look at the cliff in the background and the trees, you can see that they come into focus and then out of focus, and that's all because of the continuous autofocus. This shot shows someone walking in the foreground and the autofocus didn't really freak out, which is good. It kept the focus pretty much on the people in the boat, which is what I was wanting. And now we've got the focus on the kids in the background. And now I'm capturing the moment of the parents capturing the moment of their kids in the sand. And here's my nephew getting buried in the sand as well. Now, because this is a pretty static shot, I don't really need continuous autofocus. So if this was a mission critical shot, I probably would have just flicked the Panasonic S1 into manual mode. And as you can see, we just lost focus there. So if this was a mission critical shot and I really need to get that split second where his eyes were just full of delight and I really need to capture that moment, but then the focus just drifts out, then the footage isn't really usable, and then later Nathan, editor Nathan, will be really angry at past Nathan for not getting the shot properly. And now we've swapped lenses, we're now with the Laowa 12mm f2.8 0D, and we've gone to 50p. And because we've gone to 50p, that's 8-bit, and I don't really like shooting log in 8-bit, so I've changed the picture profile to natural. And I'm a big fan of the natural profile. I think it gets some really nice colors, some natural colors. And I haven't color corrected or graded this at all. So this is exactly how it came out of camera. And now because we're shooting 50p, I've slowed it down to get a little bit of slow-mo. We're also using manual focus because this lens doesn't have any autofocus, and we're using the Photodiox variable ND throttle fusion adapter. And I didn't have the ND maxed out, but it was up towards the high end of the maximum ND that you can have. And if you look at the sky, you can see how it's a little bit darker when we're looking up the beach. And then when we swing back towards the water, you can see it's a little bit brighter as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also when my nephew is on the edge of the frame, you can see a slight bit of distortion, even though the lens is marketed as a 0D distortion. It's pretty good though. And now we've jumped back to the Lumix S24-105 f4 lens, and we've now got the Polar Pro ND filter on now because this is an L-mount lens and I can't use the photodiox adapter because that's only for EF lenses. And we're still shooting in 50p. And we're back to autofocus continuous as well. Normally when I shoot in 50p, I plan to slow down the footage in post, but I figured for this test I won't slow it down, I'll just keep it at normal speed. Overall, the user experience for the autofocus being set in continuous, it was quite good, but it wasn't always reliable. The camera would show boxes around the targets, and even in this shot, I remember seeing boxes around the people here, but as you can see, they're not in focus. It keeps going out of focus. They're not as sharp as they should be, which is a bit deceiving and a little bit annoying, and it doesn't let you have that full confidence in the Panasonic autofocus system. Here we can see the people in focus, which is great. And then you can see the focus kind of drifting as well onto the boats. And here's some shots of kids playing with what I can only assume is the latest and hottest toy for the beach. And some more shots of kids making sandcastles. Here's a shot of the camera trying to get focus and then crashing and burning. And then I stopped recording because I knew this was not recoverable. All right, now we've got back to focus and I'm pretty happy with how the focus is with this shot. But once again, it's not 100% reliable. And this shot shows how the focus can just hunt and drift. And we finished with the time lapse. And this is just the time lapse that was created in camera with the Panasonic S1 using the Leiwa 12mm f2.80D. The shutter was 1/5 and I used the Photodiox variable ND throttle fusion adapter. And that's the video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel for more videos on video creation in the future.